All right. So first of all, thank you so much, Alex, for joining me on today's class, if you will.
Okay.
Personal budgeting. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but seriously though, so there's a couple of things, and you may already know this, but I'm gonna pretend like you don't. And that is that the way we want to look at this budget, the first thing is to think about it in terms of what is my fixed cash outflow versus my variable cash outflow. And that's what I would want to break this up first into. So,
I thought I had that number in here. I do not. I thought I had like a bottom line. You know, this is our revenue base. This is our monthly income, that kind of stuff. So, okay.
yeah. So, I see. Okay. And then we go into proposed income. You haven't put that in there yet, right? The income, you just have your, this is just your cash outflow. Is this the way
Yeah.
I'm
We have that on a different plan monthly outflow.
Oh, it's
Income here.
calculating.
This is it here.
Got it.
Yeah, it's doing because it's supposed to be just on my income. So, and we got to change this number actually. Yeah, we've been playing around the edges. We have another spreadsheet that has our income listed on it, but I can pull it up if you want. But I think for our purposes, it's
what I would do is, I would break it into fixed versus variable. And then I would have my subcategories under my fixed outflow, and my variable would have its own subcategories for variable.
Okay.
And the reason why we need to determine this is because fixed is fixed, right? Like there isn't much, our hands are going to be bound. Like there's not much we can do about fixed fees that are going out. So I'm thinking like your mortgage payment, right? Because you don't really have much flexibility there. If you have loans that are fixed as well, I would put those at credit card payments are technically variable because you have control over what you're going to pay them. So, but your fixed ones are going to be things like your mortgage, your student loans, those are fixed if you have those. Back taxes, if you have them, that's going to be fixed.
Okay.
Your utilities, ironically enough, are variable costs. I'll tell you that now. Your healthcare costs, if it's pretty fixed in terms of like your premiums, those are fixed. So insurance is fixed. Your variable would be your medical costs, like your prescriptions, doctor visits, things like that. Technically speaking, your charity, and I'm kind of, there you go. So fixed would be your mortgage, car payments.
We made our last car payment last month, so
congratulations.
exactly. So
student loan payments.
I think I paid off my student loan too. I'm not sure.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
amazing. IRS or back taxes, if you have any of those. And what else do we typically find under fixed? Yeah, those are good. Those will get us a good start. So your variables are going to be things like your utilities. And I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to share something with you about utilities. And that is my utilities, even though it is a variable cost, the way I make utilities a fixed cost. So first we got to calculate my variable and then we turn it into a fixed cost. So the way I deal with it, now this isn't, mind you, I'm not a financial advisor. So I don't think like
Sure.
I'm a financial advisor. So what I do with my utilities, and you're good at this because you have the data, is I take my utilities and I average it out for the whole year.
Yes.
And then what I do, now this is what I do personally, is I take the actual cost divided by 12, right, for the whole year, or multiply, or like let's say you have 3 or 4 months worth, I then multiply it out to give me a year's average. And then I turn around and I divide it by 12. That will give me my fixed utility rate for my electric, my gas, my sewer, And then to make it super easy for me, and even in my bank account, is I send the utility companies that fixed fee every single month, regardless of what the bill is. And so even though
I do that already.
Oh, perfect.
Yep, I do that already for gas. And I'm on a annualized plan for electric. And I'm already trying to do that. So okay, I got you.
Perfect. So do that for everything. And then usually what happens is at the end of the year, if I have a surplus of credits with the utilities,
use that for the payment or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I write out that credit for a couple of
Mhm.
months, give me a little breathing room, and then I
Go
resume
back,
back up again.
recalculate. Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's how I take my variables and turn them into fixed, but I have to have at least 3 months worth of data before I
Mhm.
can turn it into fixed. But like
Okay.
like your medical is actually going to be variable, so just keep that in mind. It will be variable because you don't know, like the doctor will
Mhm.
prescribe something or not or whatever. Your gifting is technically variable unless you decide to make a conscious decision to make it fixed. But the reality is you have control over it.
Yeah.
Same thing with your entertainment. That's going to be all variable. Um, if you're going to
Dining
have,
out.
yeah, dining out, your meals, you're eating out. Now, if it helps, it depends on how detailed you want to get, but you know what? Actually, I'm not afraid of showing you. I'll show you how I put my stuff together so you can see how I did it.
So as you're pulling that up, so one of the things that I think that I'm trying to do is I try to reflect that here. So like these utility costs, I believe everything in here is technically variable. I try to treat it as fixed, right?
Yes.
And everything in here should also, so everything in here should be fixed. So I've tried to do this as kind of, if you collapse these, right, and look at this like this,
Oh,
at
yeah. Okay.
this level, everything inside, let me just shrink all these. That's probably an easier way to do this, but
Yeah. Okay. This is good.
right. So when you look at it like this, right, everything inside debt payments is fixed. Everything inside
Yes.
housing is fixed. Everything inside utilities is variable. Groceries is variable.
Yes.
Transportation is variable.
Yes.
Is car payment in there? No, car payment should not be in there. Car payment. Oh, it is in there.
Yeah. So
It's
you'd
zeroed
have to
out right
put,
now.
yeah. So you
Yeah,
would put those, so theoretically, you would put your car payments under your
under
debt payment.
debt. Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
I wonder if we did that. No, we didn't do that. Okay.
So that's,
So
yes.
yeah, so
You would just move them
but
up
that's
there.
kind of, yeah, that's what I've been trying to do, right?
Okay. You're
Is
good.
to at this level saying everything in the specific category is either fixed or variable, and just leave it like that, so that when I dive in there, I'm not. And so I need to indicate that maybe clear here, so that I can say maybe put a little V at the end of transportation, or a
Yeah, that
little
works. Or I was
F
going to say,
or something.
just put a subheading like right underneath housing, like just before utilities. So line 15, just insert a line and call that variable, like
Got you.
as a
Okay.
title,
Yeah. Yep.
so
Okay.
that you can
So
see
so
it.
re okay so readjust these so that all of my fixed stuff is up here, all of my variable stuff is down here, and then make those another kind of sub. Uh, I don't know.
Right
Where I
underneath
can
it.
break it out, where I can collapse it. Yeah. Okay. I got
Yeah.
you.
So like
Okay. Okay.
and let's see if I can let me see if I can show you this. So okay. So I do mine on QuickBooks Online because it's just because it's what I know. I'm very familiar with it. Um, but I'll show you mine since you showed me yours. Again, I have no problems with that. Let me
All right.
that was funny. Let me see. How do I get in there?
Are
Okay.
you sharing right now? Because I think my
I'm
sharing might have turned off.
no, I still see you. I still see you doing your thing. Um
Okay. Let me turn off my. Where did my?
I'm gonna turn you off
I'm
right
a
now.
WebEx guy. I'm a WebEx guy. So Zoom is like okay.
You're okay. So this is how it looks like on my so this is what it looks like on my end. Now this is my business.
Okay.
Um,
Fixed.
but you can see how I have total fixed income, right?
Oh,
Or
I got you.
I
Okay.
know what income is coming in that's fixed.
Okay.
And then I have all of my fixed expenses that are due every month going out. And then I have all of my fixed things like professional development is a fixed cost for me, my rent, telephone.
Do you so like telephone expense, you have that as fixed. So what you're saying, well, I guess it would be a fixed cost.
Yeah,
That's
because
not a
you
good
can't really.
one.
Yeah, it used to be
Yeah.
variable back in the day, but now it's
Yeah.
pretty much
Yeah.
fixed. But I do have my telephone as a fixed
But like
cost.
Okay, so this is all fixed right here. So
Yeah.
you don't have any variable in this, or did you turn everything into a fixed cost?
So in this, no, and this is true. This is truly a fixed cost because it's truly the same amount a month,
Okay,
same amount every month.
okay,
So
okay,
that's how I identified it and said, well, because I'm not
okay.
going to, I can't change it really. Like my
Yeah,
internet, even though technically it's considered a variable cost, it's actually fixed, as you
it's
know.
yeah. Okay,
Um, some of my dues and subscriptions are fixed. Like I think in here are things like my Adobe and my Google and all of that other fun stuff.
do
My
you have
Disney.
like inside there? Do you have things like Google Music or
Yes,
Apple Music, that kind of?
yes,
Okay, okay.
yes. So I actually, I mean, that's yeah. I actually went into detailed and actually broke it. I broke down each of them. I mean, that's. I mean, like I said, you and I, we walk around the same boat practically because I'm
Mhm,
this. I'm the
mhm,
same way.
mhm.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, you can see here's the fixed, here's my fixed advertising costs, that are always being recorded in there. And then on the top is where you've got, this is all my variable costs that are up on top. So they're all variable. So like um, the things I can't control, like lead
Gas or
advertising,
yeah.
my car. I have a Prius, so I don't pay
Mhm.
much. I mean, the
But
last time
still, it's
it's still there.
yeah.
My bad debt is considered variable because we don't know if people are going to pay or not pay. My
Got you,
banking
got you.
fees are all variable. My business permits, my due. So some dues are variable, even though it's like it could be a fixed, but it would be like they was like one-time purchases. So like one time I bought this oh, that's in the wrong category. But like these are for like one-time purchases.
Okay.
Um, then if you notice, like I've got like meals, again, something that is not fixed. My
Mhm.
interest on debt, again, not fixed.
This is actual data that we're looking at. Is this a budget or is this
You're
actual?
looking at actual data. So
Okay, okay,
even in my budget, it's the same exact way.
okay. Oh
So
yeah,
I,
because you wanna yeah. I got that. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
And then eventually, and then I know you're such a geek and I love it. And if you're willing to, even if you use like the most basic QuickBooks Online program. Okay, let me show you something. I think you might like this. I'll even show you. So I'll show you how. Now, my house one, I haven't had time to do it like I did for my business. So no judging.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But
So this is so you have a yeah, you have to have a business and a personal. You can't
yeah.
mix those two, obviously.
So
Okay.
this is my household. This is my household, and I don't have any current data because it's been a while since I've worked in it. Um,
Yeah, it's a hard. Yeah.
but what I can tell you is this is how I converted a normal accounting program, quote unquote, and I turned it into like a like a financial way of reading it. And so like this is last year's data. So like you can see like I've got what I contributed from my business, what Blaine brought in for net wages, and notice how I call it net wages.
Yeah, yeah. Now net wages, are you pulling a different number? Obviously, you're
Yeah.
not pulling the gross number, you're
No,
pulling,
I'm calling it net
yeah.
because this is what's actually coming into my bank account.
Okay, okay. So that's the number you're using. Okay, okay,
Yeah. So like when you do yours, I would use net wages. I would totally go with net wages. Um,
okay,
because
okay.
because it's a real picture.
It's not, yeah, anything gross isn't, you gotta, yeah, it's just gonna cost, okay, I got you, I
Yeah,
got
they
you.
should just call it like a mirage wages.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I digress. So yeah,
exactly.
call it net. So you can see like what was brought into the household, and then I must have did something on the side. Made a little bit of. Oh, that was Blaine.
Mm-hmm,
Blaine does that's his color guard stuff that he does. So you
mm-hmm,
can see my total amount of income I brought in last year as a household,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and what I'm now. What I oh I did do it. Oh, I did do it. Okay, so up here I've got like this was like okay, this is me being terrible, but I actually track my husband's spending. So
I
yeah,
try not
right.
to do that with Erica. It's just gonna get me mad. And she doesn't hassle me when I spend, so I know it just we
I
give each other that grace. So
I mean I don't complain or
I
anything
hear it.
like
No,
that.
I
I
know, I
just
know, I know. You
it's
just like to know. Yeah, I know.
yeah, I just like
I
to,
got you.
you get we follow each other.
I know. I got
Here's my charity that we gave out. We spend a little bit of money on clothing, right? So this is all
yeah.
variable. Then here we go. See, I created
Can you shrink that really quick? I want to see the kind of the structure, and
yes.
then like divide it. if that makes sense.
Oh, it won't,
Okay,
it may
expenses.
not. Here we go. Let's see if we can do it like this. So
Okay, okay,
there we
okay,
go. So if you
okay,
noticed, yeah, so expenses are just considered, that's your variable. Just because you can't put the word variable expenses, you just say expenses.
okay,
But
okay,
then if you notice though, I created a category called fixed expenses.
okay.
And then underneath my fixed expenses, like I have my automobile. Now, inside my auto, for example, I do include our payments. So I actually am including the payment that's going out because it's fixed. Now, the fuel, I know like the fuel is technically a variable, so is parking and service, but it's so minute that in accounting terms, we call
It,
this
it,
immaterial.
yeah, 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 yeah. I
But
got
I'm
you.
more
Okay.
curious about what money we're shelling out in
And it
terms of,
and this is annualized, right? So I mean,
yes,
or
this
is
is
this
completely
okay?
annualized.
Yeah,
Oh, I was going to show you a feature in a minute. That's why I came here. I'm going to
okay,
show you a
okay,
feature that's pretty cool. But I just want to show you how I did mine.
okay.
Um, and then if you notice, here's my mortgage payments for the
Yeah,
year,
yeah.
my student loans for the year, our utilities for the year, and I even broke those down into
Okay.
like our cleaning, our electricity, our gas, our pool care.
Why
Um,
don't you do? And maybe I just know the answer to this. So why do you say electricity? Why don't you say Salt River Project or APS?
um, because like if I move,
Mm,
I don't
okay,
have to change.
rename the column. Okay.
Yeah, I just know it's electricity. And quite
Okay.
honestly, if
You
I
can
dive
get the
deeper,
detail.
yeah,
It's there. Okay. Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
this is why like I would strong, and honestly, right now they have a deal going on, where because I don't think we're using QuickBooks with you. I don't think we are.
No, no,
Um,
not right now. Yeah.
but they're normally like the wholesale price for the big kit and caboodle. I mean normally the wholesale price for the whole kit and caboodle is something like $75 a month for this particular set of stuff. Um, but they're having a sale going on and they're selling it for $45 a month for wholesale. And
That's
I could give it
that's
to you.
still oof, oof.
It's well, I'm gonna show you some features. Hold on,
Okay,
we're
okay,
gonna use this.
okay,
I want to
okay,
show you. You're gonna love this. Like, trust me, you're
okay.
gonna love this. So my point is I put everything into fixed. So I have now a fixed outflow for the year. I had some fraud I had to deal with last year. Here's some
Oh, that sucks.
gifting. My gifts last year were pretty much fixed because I was supporting my brother and my mom a little bit.
Yeah.
Blaine had a habit of buying materials every month. It seemed to be the same amount of money, so I put it there. Minor home repair. Again, these are all things that I'm kind of like they're pretty much fixed in their main costs. Now, this is not as tight as my business one, and eventually I'm going to tighten this up a little bit more. Like you'll see the next time we meet, I'm going to tighten mine up too. Um, but here's my meals entertainment. I even break it down into like, so meals entertainment, I just will like, that's like a catch-all. Like if I really don't know where it should really go, I just kind of as a catch-all. But then I'll say like games, because I like to game, groceries, movies, prepared meals. Like this is my Blue Apron, the plated, stuff like that. Um,
So, okay, so if you have, I'm trying to think like on meals entertainment. If you go, okay, if you go to one of the movie theaters that you can get a meal and a movie, right? The full service.
I put it all under movies, because
Okay.
what I'm tracking is how often are we going to the movies? Like what kind of movie addicts are we? And what I love about this, when you go into the detail, you're gonna love this. Are you ready? When you go into the details, you're gonna be able to you can actually group this by month, and then you can see how often you go in a month. So you can already see the trend. Like here comes the summer, we're very bored, so we're going to the movies a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Here comes November, big time, big ticket things, right? So you get an idea of where you spend your time during the year,
Okay.
and you can
And are you
see,
pulling this in? You're doing a data download, or are you entering
yeah.
it in?
No, no, no.
Okay.
This is the
So
beautiful thing about this. So, okay, wait, hold on. I'm gonna show you. Let me go the recap. Hold on. So you're gonna love this. I can tell you're interested. So this is good. Okay. So if you noticed, I have a total. I even track my dog, like my beautiful pet. Like
sure,
I even
sure.
track the dog food. I even track. I mean, trust me, we get anal on this, like, right? Like, this is who we are. Like, I love it.
Hmm.
Here's my telephone for our household and a little bit of travel for us. And then here was like, so even my remodeling projects, technically it's not an expense, but I went ahead and said, you know what? I'm going to call it an expense. And what's interesting about this, if you look at the total income, it's a negative number,
Yeah.
25,000. And that's exactly what I actually had to take out in order to fund the remodeling of the bathroom.
Mhm.
So it makes sense, like, because I know what I'm doing, right? Like you wouldn't know, but I know. And so what's really cool about this is the next thing is once I get data populated, I can turn around and I can go, how much did we spend from the previous period compared to the current period? And so then I can run an analysis. And here you go, from January through December of 2018, so last year, I can actually look and see changes going on from year to year.
You
I
can
can even,
see where your growth
mm-hmm,
expenses are, and do I need to fix that,
yes,
respond to it,
yes,
change it, or do more of that because I'm saving money or something like that. Okay.
absolutely. Oh, I know why I also broke out his classroom stuff is because we used to be able to deduct this on the tax return as an itemized deduction.
Mm.
By the way, if you did go this route, I would actually help you set this up so that
Okay.
it flows more to your tax return.
Okay.
I
Okay.
will I will help you set this up. But I digress. So like you can look at it from like the previous year, or maybe you're like, I'm just kind of curious, like, what did it look like from the pre oh no, wait, why didn't that work? That should have just have been because I'm looking at it from a full year. Um, I can also go, well, how much of this is like how much is it percentage of expenses? Like my income that I bring in, how much is like, of all my expenses, how much do each of these equal in total expenses? So of my entire money outflow, I'm spending 24% on my car.
So when you categorize this, you do the data dump. Does Quicken or QuickBooks, does it try to say, hey, this looks like a deposit from
Hmm.
like Blaine, like his job, and so I'm going to put this in income. Does it try to pre-categorize it for you, and then you got to go and fix it, or is everything blank and you got to go?
In the very beginning, it's going to be like a blank slate. And
Okay,
then you will then through automation, it will eventually begin to
figure it
automate,
out.
but
Okay,
you still have to authorize it. So like, for example,
okay.
so this is like the financial statement, right? Like you could take a look at the cool stuff.
Okay.
um Another thing that you can do with it, and like I said, you can also dive into the details. Like you're like, I'm just a little bit curious, like, okay, what's with the haircuts? Like, where are we spending it? Again, you can see, oh yeah, it's at Cost Cutters, and you can see how often he goes, right? So it's just a great way to give you some analysis. Now when you get this robust addition, you actually have the ability. Now, of course, I didn't create a budget for my personal side yet. I do it primarily for the business. In here, I can actually call this household budget,
hmm
and I can leave it blank. Like I can actually fill in my own, or I can actually bring in actual data, and then I can actually pre-populate this, which I'm showing you right now. I'm doing it right now. So, and then I myself can go in here and go, okay, well, we know Blaine's salaries, went down a little bit. And so I can actually cross populate it across the whole columns. So I can actually, if I want, override any of this data and create a budget.
And this is now pulling your categories from your expenses and bringing
Yes.
them over.
Yes. It's bringing it all over. So then when I run a report, I can now come in here and do something called a budget versus actual.
Yeah, there it is.
And then I can take a look and say, okay, where am I? And I don't think I have much data. Yeah, I don't have much data on here. Um, yeah, so here you go. So I must have done I did a January's worth, but you can see how, okay, yep. So you're actually ahead of the budget. Oh no, I'm actually below my budget from last year.
Does okay, so here's this. I'm just so Eric and I are in a budgetary retraction phase, right?
Hmm.
So every single cost needs to be evaluated.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And so ideally what you do is you pre-authorize your expenses and then you go make the expense, right? I mean, that's how a business would do it,
Hmm.
right? in a family, it doesn't work that way.
Nope.
You know, you're at the grocery store, you get it. You know,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? You want the
Yes.
Oreos, you get it. You don't, you're not
Yes.
thinking about the budget because it's, you know, hey, that's what you do.
Yep.
And so that kind of post um, acceptance or something, I guess what I'm trying to understand. So I think here's what I'm asking. In the moment, is there a tool? Is there like a phone app or something
Yes.
where I can look and say, "Hey,
Yes.
where am I on my budget
Yes.
for groceries right
Yes.
now?" Okay.
Yes. So again, and it's funny that I'm kind of pseudo selling you on QuickBooks. I'm not trying to. I'm just
No,
showing
no,
you the
no, that's
tools.
fine.
But on your phone, which mine's in my bedroom, but on the phone, you can actually pull up this same exact thing on your phone in the moment. And if you're tracking, so let's say for example, you're saying, you know what, we're having overall my whole household's about to experience, let's call it a 30% reduction across the board, right? So if now again, this is us on groceries. Now we obviously don't cook a whole lot, as you can see, but let's pretend that this is the case. So I could take 876 and I can multiply that. I'm going to multiply that by a 30% reduction, right?
Hmm.
So I got to reduce my budget by 263 every year. So I'm going to divide that number by 12. So I
Hmm.
have to actually reduce this number by $22. So here's what I love about it. It has a built-in calculator. So I can take, I'm going to zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. Hopefully it's taking a moment. It's a little bit delayed, but um, ah, okay, okay. I think I went a little
A
crazy.
little too far.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. Calm down. All right, like groceries. So what I love about this is it has a built-in calculator. So I can actually leave that number alone, minus 22, and it
Mm,
gives me a new value.
like Excel.
Yeah, 22. And then,
Now, if I'm doing like a proposal, like I'm trying to say, okay, Erica, here's the impact. Can we agree on this? Can I save this budget as like a proposed budget,
yeah,
or and then apply? Okay, this is our active budget, and here's our proposed. You know what I'm saying?
you totally can name this however you want. You call this house budget, house budget one, house budget two.
Hmm.
You can name it whatever you want. And then when you run the reports,
You say
you're
which one you want to run it
yeah, to
against.
compare it
Okay.
against. Now,
Okay.
here's another thing. In real time, as you're adjusting the data, at the very, very bottom, it's going to leave you your net income, your net cash flow.
Mm,
So you can see it all, and it does it for the whole year. So you can see it at the bottom. So in real time, as you're calculating this, like, for example, we don't have this right now, right? So I can get rid of all of this. So in real time. And if you notice, all this is changing now at the
yeah.
bottom.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's really nice to be able to go, okay, like I don't need that anymore. Like that's not something I need. Now, the only catch is, let's say, for example, you have a new expense in here that you need to add, a new line item. You'd have to go create that first and then come back
Okay.
to the budget.
Yeah. That's
But other
that.
that's a minor
I get.
step.
Yeah.
So when you save this budget, what's going to happen now is I can come over here to my reports and I can actually save this. So this is pretty cool. So I can save this. And what that means is that when you see right here where it says favorites, all I have to do is click on it and it brings it up for me every time.
Okay.
And so I have a constant eye on it. Now, let's say, for example, you're out at the store and you're like, okay, you know what? I know how much money we're supposed to spend this month on groceries. You can click on the report in real time and you would just click on your P&L and I'm not, see, mine for some reason does this. I don't know why. They've never fixed it for me and nor do I care. But like for you, it's going to bring it up in real time. It really will. So let's say, for example, you're working in the month. I'm going to pretend January because I know I have data in January.
Mhm.
And it brings it up. I'm at the grocery store and I'm like, okay, how much did we agree that we were going to spend today for groceries for the month? And so then you'll actually look and you'll actually see like, oh, okay, I've already spent 179 and we already agreed that we're going to spend 250 every month. So you can already make an educated, informed decision on the spot.
Okay, but I don't see my net, right? I don't see what's left. Like if we've spent that,
Oh,
you see,
no.
So I
No,
never go to my
unless you
budget
did,
report. I have to go to it
unless
or
you
budget
select on
versus
the budget one.
actual.
Yeah,
The budget versus actual. Okay.
yeah. Um,
And
and then
I could put that in favorite. So.
yeah, exactly. And then it would then do so. Like again, I'll run it again just to show you to
Mhm.
demonstrate. Oops. So I'll take this one and do this one as 0, 1, 3, 1, 20.
Excuse me.
No worries, you're good. And then, yep, and then I can actually be running it, and you can see there's a column for actual and then for budget. And then again, here's like, let me find it. So let's say, for example, I'm at the grocery store, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I still have enough funds to buy groceries,
We
right?
haven't gone to the grocery this month, and so
So I have the money
so
available.
negative means I can still spend. Positive means I'm over. So like you're $37 over budget for that category, meals and
Yes.
entertainment, but for groceries you're under budget.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Sorry
Okay.
about that. Yes.
No. That's that. I just want to understand how to.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you just did something to update that. You added. Oh, you added another number somewhere. Or
Well, I don't know what I did.
I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, you because you saw something on here that wasn't on here before.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Okay.
But the point is
Okay.
yes, you can actually just look at that report and save it as your favorite, and then just recall it when you're, if you're out doing something, and it's on your phone, you can just pull it up like that.
Okay.
Now, another cool thing about it is if you're bored for whatever reason, I don't know, let's say you're bored standing in line or something, and you want to play, you can actually pull up your phone and actually start categorizing things from your bank transactions while you're standing in line.
Okay. Good.
So you
Good.
don't even have to be at home on a computer. You can just do it from your phone because you're bored or
Okay.
whatever.
Okay.
Now, what I'll tell you in the beginning, so this is what it looks like. So when we pull the data over, we help you to link all of your cards, your bank accounts. We link it, we tie it all, we all connect it here.
Okay.
So what happens is now, of course, I've done some things that have disconnected it, but I
Sure.
digress.
Sure.
So normally what happens is this thing updates on its own. For the most part, it will always update every day, and usually within the hour it updates. And when it also will tell you when it last updated, so you can see how far back I am.
Okay.
Um, and then it will give you a bank balance, and then it will give you what QuickBooks thinks it has.
Okay.
And the name of the game is to get these two numbers to say the same thing.
You want them to say the same thing.
Yeah, they need to say the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And one thing that you're doing, so believe it or not, you're about to become a bookkeeper for your own personal life. And one thing you do is at the end of each month, and this is what I do, it's my habit, is I actually go in and I reconcile my books. And so what that means is I go to Capital One, which is where we bank, and I pull the bank statement, and then I actually will and this will be for another lesson because we're not there yet. So we'll put this in stages for you. But essentially I go to my Capital One, I pull the bank statement, and then what I'm literally doing is comparing data to data. So I'm actually comparing what the bank said happened, what QuickBooks said happened, because AKA what I put in because I'm the user, right? And so I'm just tying it out, making sure it's correct. And then once it zeroes out, because that's the name of the game, is you get it to say 0, then we know we're golden. Then I know now I can rely on the data even more. Now I know I'm speaking the truth. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Versus like, I'm just guessing.
Is
So
there
this,
a is there a I'm not sure what the accounting term for it would be. I think of it as like some type of a cash flow report where if I have a lot, if my bank account is growing,
yeah,
right, but I see, I just want to know, great, I have, you know, $5,000 in my bank account, but my actual expenses this month are $1,000, just to keep it simple, right? Yes, I want to know that those are in sync, but I want to stay focused on that $1,000 because that other money, it's savings, it's
yeah, it's
whatever,
somewhere else.
Yeah,
So
how would I do that? How would I keep track and keep focused on
so
how I'm
here,
doing?
so there's a couple of things now. So I want to share with you that I have personally modified QuickBooks to fulfill my own needs as a
Sure.
budgeter.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so it's not a traditional like budgeting software or anything like that. Some of it you're a super smart guy. So this is why I'm willing to do this with you. Cause I mean, I'm the same way. Like I will figure this shit out. Just leave it to me. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know that I'm going to give you the tools to figure this out too. And then I already know you. You're going to like go figure this out even
Figure
more.
out, yeah.
But I want to make sure we just do it the right way so that
Let's
you're
start at the
relying on the right
basics. Sure.
information.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
So with
Okay.
that being said, the truth of the matter is that you do actually technically have a cash flow statement right here called the statement of cash flow.
Okay. So it is cash flow. Okay.
Yeah. But the thing about one thing I don't like about I've never liked the statement of cash flow, even isn't from an accounting when we worked with this in the accounting world, um, is because it wasn't, in my opinion, capturing what really was going on in my
Okay.
business.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is that yes, absolutely right. You've got extra cash sitting there in the bank. And yes, this will pick it up and say, yep, after we deduct all your receivables and your payables, and then this is what you really technically have at the end of the period. And this is what you technically should have available in cash. You and I, we're thinkers, and we go, that's not true because that $2,400 is already eaten up by the car payment next month.
Yeah.
Or, you know what
Exactly.
I mean? So I
Exactly.
kind of don't really use it like
Yeah. Yeah.
most people do.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I instead create my own. And the way I create it, and I'm going to help you do this because this is what I did, and I find it very useful, is I just created this modified income statement. And at the very bottom, this will tell me what my actual cash flow is.
So in this scenario, you're going to go into debt this period, whatever this period is.
Yeah, exactly. In
But
this
next,
scenario,
yeah,
I'm
but the next time you may be
positive.
plus 3,000 or something.
Yeah.
And so, okay,
Yeah, exactly.
okay, okay.
Exactly. Because here's the truth. If you notice what's not in here are my credit card payments that I'm paying off the credit card every month. So if the rule is, okay, here's a rule. If you're paying off your credit card every month, then the credit card payment does not go in
Yeah,
this
it's
report.
a wash. Yeah,
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 doesn't
okay.
go here. But let's say, for example, it's a credit card that you're paying off and you're never ever going to touch again. Then I'm going to put the credit card payment in here because
As
it's
a debt.
affecting my
Yeah,
cash.
yeah,
Does that
yeah,
make sense?
yeah, it does.
So you're absolutely right. Now, if I wanted to, when we set this up for you too, we're going to be able to do this where you can take a look and go, oh yeah, here's my total income and here's my total expense outflow, my total cash outflow. Sorry, let's do that again. Here's my total outflow. And as you're right, I'm using credit card debt this month to pay for shit.
Hmm.
And that's an indicator. I mean, that's it quickly tells you.
Yeah, exactly,
You're,
exactly.
you're like, okay, babe, so like either $2,900 is coming out of our savings account. That's one
Hmm.
option.
Hmm.
Or we're putting it on a credit card.
Yeah, pick your poison. Exactly.
Exactly. So you're
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, which is it? So we're going to work with this. Like, you're going to see how badass this actually becomes. And then as far as the banking, so let me show you real fast too. So with the banking, the data gets pulled, right? So you can see this is a doubling up of some stuff. And the point about this is if you notice, I've got a date, I have a description, I have a payee, I have a category, and the amount of money that was either spent or the money that was received. So over time, QuickBooks is going to attempt to categorize it itself, thinking
So
this is what you do.
so let me ask you two questions here, really quick, just right, because we're looking at raw data,
Yeah,
right?
this is raw data.
And so like check 35,394.
Yeah.
Um, um, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I can't remember what the hell I wrote that check
I
for.
can't either.
So you go online, right, and you
Yes.
do the image, and you're
Yep.
like, oh, that was the
Yep.
the haircut or
Yep.
whatever,
Yep.
and so then you go, or in this case, maybe bathroom remodel, whatever. Oh, okay, that was boom, that was this. You
Yep.
put the payee down there, Home Depot,
Yeah, there you go.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, can you pull the image in, or you're just fine with the data, or?
It depends on how okay, I'll share with you. Because you run an Airbnb, right? Like this is one thing you're doing, right? And it will pick up. With that, I'm going to be attaching my attachments of my images.
Okay, okay.
When it comes to your personal business, I mean
You
like
don't
my
really
personal
care.
life, I'm not too worried about
So
it.
so on the bank one, you just download the image and then
Yes.
re-upload it here. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
and you know
okay.
where you do it at? Check this out. Ready? You see right here where it says add attachment?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I just click on that, and then I can just pull it in,
Yep, yep.
and
Okay,
then it's gonna save it, done. And now
okay.
it's saved forever.
Yeah, okay.
And then I can save it. And then later on, I haven't really played with that a whole lot, but there's a space, there is actually an area where you can actually go pull all your images from.
Okay. So if I'm using Amazon
Mhm,
and for my business expenses and it creates a kind of electronic invoice,
mhm.
would you want me to add that invoice here or leave it
Yeah.
in Amazon? You
No,
you
I
want
would
me to bring it
totally
over?
I would totally print it out as a PDF. You know
Yeah,
how,
yeah,
like, it
yeah.
gives you, I
Hmm.
print it as a PDF, and then I would upload it. So,
Okay.
here's the thing I'll tell you
Okay.
about that, because that's a great comment that you made. Let's see if I can get, oh, darn it, of course. So, this is what it looks like after you've actually what they call reviewed it. So, I've already determined where it went. And, no, 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 let's not confuse you. So, here's some raw data. Okay. So, whoops, back up here, boy. Here we go. Okay. So, for example, let's say that Fry's Food, right? So I buy dog food from Fry's Food, obviously, and we buy household accoutrements from there or whatever. So quite honestly, I have to make, as a person, I have to make the conscious decision to, because I'm tracking dog food, like this is how anal I am,
Okay. Okay.
to
You do
buy
your
dog
thing.
food for,
You
on
know,
a separate
power to the
transaction.
people, you know.
Yeah. You get me, brother. So I actually will swipe one card, right,
Gotcha.
for the food and
Okay.
whatever, and then I will buy the dog food on a separate
Sure.
transaction.
Sure.
Now, what happens is over time, the Facebook, I mean,
QuickBooks.
thank you, QuickBooks, is going to think like every time it sees Fry's Food, it's going to want to put it to, let's say, groceries, because that's where we put it, right, originally.
Okay.
And so each time it's going to bring up the word groceries, and it's going to look green, just like you see up here, telephone. So
Hold
green
on one.
indicates that it's trying to do it itself. And so because we're smarter than QuickBooks, sometimes you have to overwrite it because it's not that smart, right?
Okay.
So for the most part, though, it might very well be pretty damn smart and pretty close. And what I will share with you, the data entry, when you start doing it on a more regular basis, initially it becomes a few hours of your life. And then, as one of my clients I interviewed a couple weeks ago said it best, it becomes the rhythm of success. And so all of a sudden it takes now 5 minutes to do this versus hours. And even on the reconciliation side, as long as this is done correctly, this data stuff is done right, your reconciliation will take you 2 clicks. Click, click, and be done.
Okay.
Um, so here's what I'm saying is I'll say groceries, right? But because the system keeps seeing Fry's Food and I keep saying groceries and dog food, it gives up. And eventually it just calls it uncategorized. So that'll be
Okay.
the only time that I'm gonna have to go in there and keep on,
Yeah. Gotcha.
but for
Gotcha.
the most part, it's gonna say, oh, you always do this for this place. Let's go. Now you can, if you'd like, and I don't know if I recommend it personally, because again, I'm looking at myself, okay? I don't know if I would make a rule, but you could actually create a rule that says each time.
When it says fries,
Mhm.
make it this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could do it auto where it does it by itself, but quite honestly, I don't trust it.
Yeah,
And
I hear you.
so I don't allow the rules. I actually continue to come in here and go, "Oh yeah, yep, that was me. I did make a $500 contribution." And so I hit the add button,
Yeah.
and now here's the other thing. When you do it automatically like I just did, you see where the payee is blank? We actually want to make sure that there is a payee name there. And the reason why we want to make sure there's a payee name is because when you go pull up the reports, and remember how like you're like, oh, you can dive deeper. You can be able to, you can see where things go a little bit easier. Like I can look in here and pull up insurance, and I can see how it all went to Liberty Mutual. But I only got that because I put it in under the payee name under the bank.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Hey, Jonathan, give me 1 second here. I got somebody pinging me from the office.
You're good, my friend.
Hang on just 1 second. You can onboard or just configure and onboard down the road. Pilot. Okay, sorry. They would. Either Mark or Tom. Okay, sorry. We're deploying. We're doing a. Are you familiar with?
So anyways, my whole point of we'll wrap this up now. So I
Yeah.
know you got to go, and this is great actually. So this is perfect for me. So the dealio here is let's do this. So I gave you an overview of how this program works. Um, if you find it useful, I can get you hooked up with that subscription. I think it's really worth it personally because it really helps
Yeah,
me.
I'm thinking that might be where we need to go. Can I cancel it? Is it like I'm
Yeah.
committing to a year
Nope,
or
nope.
okay,
You
okay,
it's month to month, and then again, I'm willing to sell it to you at. I'll give it to you at wholesale price because, quite honestly, why not give this to this give
okay,
you this tool? Honestly, now here's what I'll
okay,
share with you that I think you'll like, and that is they have something called. Now I don't know if you'll get this part, but we'll double check. But they have this thing called business performance. Now think of this because it's about our personal budget. But think of personal business performance as my household's performance.
okay,
And as soon as this loads, because it's being slow, is it now gives us key metric data. And as data starts to get inputted, you're going to see it's going to give me a comparison from month to month. It's going to give me my total income, my cost of goods, my gross profit margins, and then it actually will graph things out for me. So like you can actually see your profit margins, net profit margins. You can see my income right from a year to prior years. So you can see how it's like, you know, I can
hmm
see my expenses. So right, if my goal was to decrease my overall spending, I now have a visual in real time. And so now I can
okay,
actually visually see it decreasing, right? And so I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. We don't
okay,
do payables or receivables. That's not you nor me. Now I will
hmm
tell you, maybe after a few months when you get used to this, because I actually started doing this on my business side, I actually started using the payable and the receivable side to account for future payments on fixed expenses going out the door. And what I'm doing personally, and again, I'm going to teach you this, is what I'm realizing is that's creating an even better forecast in real time for me. And that's what you're chasing. And I know I'm chasing it. So give me some time to perfect it. And then I'm going
okay,
to teach
okay,
you.
okay.
But for right now, if you're interested in this side of it, we can get
Yeah,
started.
let's do that. And since we're at this weird breaking point, anyway, from my internal processes, this is a good place to start a new system.
And yes, and
So
we're working at 2020. And here's what I would tell you. You don't here's I'm going to share this with you if I may be very frank with you, because you're like me. I don't want you to be tempted. Okay, as your coach, I don't want you to be tempted to go into 2019 and try to get 2019. Just pretend like
no,
2019 happened
yeah,
and left.
yeah,
But guess what we have? We have now we have 5 hair months of
of
data
data, yeah,
from
we
your
can use
banks.
to get a set of what
Yes.
our forward. Yeah, I got you.
Yes. So what we'll do is I'll set you up with QuickBooks, and
Okay.
then you're gonna get. I'll add it on to your monthly subscription with me, so it'll just be it'll just be one payment. And then the second thing is I will send you. You're gonna get an invite from me. So watch your spam folder. You'll get an invite from QuickBooks where your username is gonna be your email address. You'll create your own password and stuff like that. And then you're pretty intuitive. They have actually training videos to like get you started, especially like how do I connect my bank. So
Yeah,
when
I've
you get
done
to
that a number of times. Yeah.
yeah, so you can connect your banks, and when you do all of that, that's when I want to have a phone call with you because I don't want you to start moving data in until we walk through it a few times
But I can
together.
get the budget populated and get those numbers in there. Okay.
Yeah. You
All
take
right.
what you did on Excel, put that in the budget. Now, here's another thing. We have to modify your chart of accounts to reflect like my chart of accounts. So what I'll do is let's figure out a plan. Let's figure out a plan. Hold on, because I need to let you go anyways in 2 minutes. Okay, let's figure out a plan. When can we do this? I want to set you up for success so badly. So
The chart of account for me, the priority of chart of accounts is that it makes filing taxes much easier than it has, right? I mean, that's one of the reasons why you file so late is I keep on delaying. because I got to pull all this data from all these different places. It just sucks.
I think okay, then I'll tell you what. This is what we'll do. Um, I'm out for 2 weeks because of the training.
That's fine. Yeah,
So if
give
you're
me a
willing
couple
to wait,
weeks. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's fine.
How about this? How about we do this? I will sneak in as much as I can. I'll start developing your chart of accounts for you. So I'm going to break it to reflect your tax return. So you're going to see where, like, you're going to see Erica's housing allowance, Erica's this, and then your salary, right? Your net
Okay.
wages. And
Okay.
I'm going to create it just like I did mine, so you understand. And then from there, I'm going to create initially a fixed income category. I mean, a fixed expense category. And then from there, if that Excel sheet, you shared it with me, right? Did you send me
I
that
can.
Excel sheet?
I'll give it to you right now. Yeah, I'll get it
Okay,
over to you.
email it to me and I will use your categories and I will put them in so we have a base start point. And then when we meet again, I will teach you how to modify the chart of accounts so that when you're in there, you're like, oh, I need to add this line. You can do it without waiting for us.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that works.
All
All
right.
right,
So,
let me get this uploaded.
okay.
I just realized I got to jump
Yep.
over.
That's okay. I knew it already. So
All
toodles
right.
noodles. And hope this was a good session for you.
Yeah, very good. All right,
Okay.
sir.
All
We'll
right.
be in touch. Thank you.
Bye for now.